And that is me. I am Jupiter, aka Fifth Planet Keyforge, and I have with me my esteemed co-host.
Big Z, that's me from Texas.
See, I didn't take it this time. All right, so this is a big show for us this Sunday afternoon, as this is the end of the group stage already. Like it seems like time flew this season. Um, how do
The
you?
end of the regular season is here. 7 weeks of really, really great Keyforge. I loved watching matches every week. Even watched some that I didn't cast, which is, as a lot of people know, is very rare for me. I'm not a big video watcher. But yeah, it was wild and great.
Yeah, and like one of the things that like blew my mind was how competitive it was going into week 7, right? It was just absolutely
Yeah,
insane. And like I couldn't ask for like a happier time as
uh,
far as all that
the
goes.
top three lock. All the rest of them were what? Yeah,
Yeah, like that's crazy. So without further ado, let's talk about the group results before we get to award season, right? We'll let some more people
sure.
trickle in and stuff like that. So we're going to move straight into award season, and or not award season, but the group results, and then we'll do the award season like right after and stuff. So group results for season 2 after week 7. So in Group A, these are the three that came to the top. It was Kip taking Group A down with Jay Power actually landing in first place, which was interesting. Even going into week 7, I wouldn't have thought that would have happened with Unarmed Goat only needing one, but
Yeah,
he ended up getting beat 2-zip to allow him to slip down into that second slot and allow Grant Titus not to have to face Jay again right away. So I think that was kind of significant for Team Kip at least, right? Like,
yeah, I'm sure Team Kip was super excited about that result. One, it gives them an immediate person in the top 16,
mhm.
and now they have got a chance to have two of the 16 field going into the top cut, and that's what we're going to see. But yeah, J Power hung in there the whole season and ran down that goat to take the top position
Ran him
last
down.
week.
So now I'm like, well, I'll save that for after. But like, let's look at Group B. Group B, we had Shaka, the runaway of the tournament, right? Shaka was Mr. Perfect, Golden Boot, right? And he secured his path by beating Corey this week 2-0. And with that loss of 2-0, Corey fell all the way out of the top 3, and
Top three, yep.
and Rodion winning 2-0 in his match was able to sneak in at the last minute, and so him and Aviator are on a crash course for a rematch, and
Well, the craziest thing here about Rodion though is Rodion, Korathan, and Flaming Hobo are all 3-3 with net 0.
yep,
Rodion, however, beat both Korathan and Flaming Hobo literally in back-to-back weeks into the
yep,
6 in week 7 to say, hey, I get to go to the playoffs.
right. Well, with the Rodion, like I told you, like he hasn't played Key Fortune since season 1, and like so, and then he ended up getting his three decks. Hey, and basically he was able to. Sorry, I had to yell at the kids, but the he like came up like real rusty, and he didn't really have anything chosen. So like my team, like I put together a triad for him, of course, and gave him decks to play and stuff. So like he was learning in the first couple of weeks. He was learning, and I think having the early buy was a big resource for him. I think that actually worked in his favor to give him a little bit more time to learn the decks and get the rust off. And I think if you've watched or like seen the trend of his last couple of games, I think he's finally kind of clicking with the decks and stuff. So he's kind of a dark horse sleeper in my opinion to do really well because he's a tremendous player. But that's because he's my teammate as well. So there might be a lot of bias on that. But
His
uh,
three decks have one of the weirdest arrays there is, in my opinion. All three decks are split 50-50. His Worlds Collide is 2-2. His Coda is 3-3. His MM is 2-2.
yeah, good luck figuring it out. Like they're all really good decks. So
Yeah, like that's real weird.
all right.
Uh,
All right, so we'll move on to Group C, where Dr. Sheep was able to sneak it in and take over the group stage from Ugluk, who looked like early on looked like he was unstoppable. But Dave Cordero was also able to secure his spot by putting a headlock on Ugluk last week, and we're going to see the rematch this week. So
yeah, back-to-back rematches. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
that's crazy. But
Sh-
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You're gonna say
A
something.
Sheep lost week 1 to Ugluk, and the whole time he's just battling for what he was assuming was going to be a 2-3 playoff the whole season. A little stumble against Sad Cry Bear, but the real what really allowed him to get into this window at his first spot was Dave beating Ugluk 2-0.
Yeah.
like that mattered more for him to be in the number 1 seed than almost anything else this season.
Yeah, and Dave put on a good show against Ugluk, so I'm looking forward to see how the rematch is played out with a little bit more time for preparation, and getting some actual live reps against your opponent. It's pretty good too. And both these guys are really cerebral, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Now moving to Group D, the United Archons Prime, Jay Philippeg takes down the division, and Zeramis is here against George. This was another very tight, like close, like Kjornst was right there at trying to get in. George could have easily been the first seed as well here. Like there's a lot of things that could have happened, but Jay Philippeg took care of business. What he needed to do is just win one game, and he got it. And while on vacation, note you, he is actually on vacation. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so he didn't actually prep for this week at all. But I'm really happy to see Zeramis here from the Final Swindle. He has been a very consistent and awesome player. Like I look forward to seeing more of him in the future. He's a name you should know. And George, Old Faithful, like a season 1 returnee. Glad to see him back into the mix here. And him and Zeramis should be a pretty amazing game. So we'll see what happens.
It'll be a very fun battle to make top 16 here, and this is also one of the groups where Jay, Phil, and George were battling back and forth to the top seed. There's a lot of movement here.
Yeah.
It was always one of them, but in the end, Philippeg came through with 1 net point higher. He's not listed here. Kjornst, it's important. I do want to point out this bucket had 4 people that were 4-2.
Yep.
So
Kjornst barely missed.
Super competitive.
Barely missed.
Yeah.
So with that said, we'll move on to Group E. Group E was Lorenzo was the walkaway here, right? Like he had a great season as well, and then Echo Ito and Erie Daly were playing it out where Kiwi was alive here. It all came down to Lorenzo and what he could do against Echo Ito, and Echo Ito just took care of business. So.
Yeah, had Lorenzo beat Echo Ito 2-0, then Kiwi would have moved up, and Echo would have been bumped all the way down to 3rd. But Echo won the game. Yeah. Echo beat Lorenzo was primed to go into this, not as like a perfect undefeated, but he was going to be undefeated.
Right.
Prior to the last week against Echo.
Yeah, but Echo Ito is a proven player too. He won the Sanctimonious Glorious Few, right?
Glorious Few.
And he's a Team SAS player like from Italy that is very, very good. So this is it was a crazy group. There was a lot of really good competition in this group as well. And
I do know he is a bit anxious about the stream match. Erie Daly is a very great player, has some real strong decks. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I don't ever think that he takes a day off. I'll tell you that. Erie is amazing. But with that said, let's look at Group F. Shreds able to take over Callum and Menthol. This was the group that everybody was already knew they were getting in. It was just how it was going to end. And Shreds was able to take first seed and put Menthol and Callum in that play-in game, which is a very crucial game. Don't forget that this play-in game gives you something if you win. Not only do you get to move on, but you are guaranteed a spot for Season 3. So this is a big week. Even though this isn't a quote unquote prize week, this is a prize week. There is
actually
value.
Before we move on, we can actually talk about that too, because Echo Ito and Ugluk won our March events, right? Like they were in the top 2. They've already got guaranteed slots for Season 3.
Yeah.
As I said in that event, if they earn their slot here, I already have informed the next up.
Yep.
That means whoever was in slot 3, I've already talked to them. You really need to be rooting for Echo and Ugluk because that means you're in Season 3 if they win next week. So that's kind of a neat.
So there's some extra motivation for you too. I really want
I don't know which one's voting on which, but like Gorlami needs one of these to win, and then Texans 80 needs one of these to win.
Oh, both good guys too. Like that'd be great.
Yeah, they're good people. Like those are the people that will enter the Season 3 if these people are in their spot right now.
Awesome. I kind of cheering for both of them in a way now because I love those two guys and I know that they've put a lot of effort into trying to get in. But so either way, like whatever happens. But yeah, this is a big deal. Like there's a lot this is a very interesting week and every game will be cast. There is no timeline for the week. We are going to still encourage them to basically get done in timely manner, but every game will be cast live on Twitch and put into, and I will make sure it is on YouTube somewhere for you to watch if you miss it. But we're basically going to do our best to get a schedule out so that everybody knows. So if you're not in our Discord, get in our Discord. Use the general chat. The general chat is where we will post the schedule in not the general chat, but the Twitch chat. That will have the general outline of where the games are going to be, when they're going to be played, and then the YouTubes where you can follow them because we can push them into YouTube afterwards. So, with all that said, let's move on. Group G.
Yes, Group G.
Group G, the runner-up from last season, still dominant. Probably the most dominant player in KFPL right now is Dammit 96. As but like so, Sodafly and Vincent, or no, sorry, not Vincent, but Vince T, they basically had good runs, really, really good runs as well. But damn it, 96 has just been like a machine. Like out of all the players that I've seen, he has the highest, like I think, win rate out of like
Yep.
both seasons together. And like basically, he is just like quietly really good. Like you don't really hear a lot about him any time or whatnot. He's a really quiet, like kind of just sneaky kind of good guy. And like I remember when I started season 1, Leo Lindsay told me about him, and it was like when we were looking for a sub for Arente initially, because Arente couldn't play. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to put this guy in," and I was like, "No, he's going to have to earn it." And we decided like we're not going to just take somebody as a substitute, even though he's on the same team. And then he went and earned it in, and then he's been killing it since. So I think they made a wise decision in this choice here. But damn it, 96, absolutely fit.
Yeah, Demat and Sodefly are both representing Italian Resurgence.
Yeah.
And Demat's only loss is to Sodefly.
Yeah.
But Sodefly's only loss is to Vince T.
Yeah, so this is a weird triangle. Because
Very, very deadly area right now.
Because damn it beat Vince T. So like,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it was a weird.
So that was a very hard fight. See who was number one.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like any of these three people want to play each other again. So,
well, we saw a comment earlier from Callum in the chat for Twitch where he said, "I really wanted Mental to top the group." Like he didn't want to see Mental again.
Callum lost to Mental,
Yeah.
but
you
he also lost the Shreds though. So
yeah,
that was rough. Sorry,
Yeah.
Callum, you lost to the people that are above you.
Yeah. So we have Group H, the last group. Makes Z happy. Team SAS pulled out this one as well. So Alex Shepelev takes this one down. Had a rough last week though with Gorebelly putting some action on him.
Yeah, he did take a loss.
And but Anxious Pirate and Pac were both able to secure their wins, and they're going to have a rematch, one that Pirate lost earlier, I believe. And Pac is an incredibly good player, but I think Pirate has his deck quality is a little bit higher. But Pac has already beat him
Who
once.
did you say lost earlier? Pirate won this the first time.
Oh, did he? Okay, maybe I misread what I was reading because they were talking shit to each other in chat. So like maybe that's why they were saying they got
Pirates' losses were to Gorebelly and Alex.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So then I guess it was Pac saying that Pirate was taking too long, and they said they're going to call a judge every minute. And Pirate
Well,
was
then
like,
Pac lost to Pirate and Alex. So like Pac didn't want either of these matches either.
yeah. So
Okay.
so we'll see what happens, but this will be an interesting matchup. I'm not going to pick a winner in that one because I don't want to. I guess I'll have to.
Oh, why? Because it's your team.
Yeah, it's my team. It's my boys. But I'm pretty proud of our guys, actually, because we had 4 people of our 7 were all in one group, and then we had 2 place top 3 in 2 other groups. So that's pretty good. Vass was the only one, and he was right there in the middle of the group. Like, he was in contention, but not close enough to get there. But I was pretty happy with our first team outing. So good job, guys. Thank you. Good representation there. So speaking of, the top count for the top 3 that were qualified, the team counts is right here, like not in particular order. I color coded them so you could kind of see them easier. But like I said, we had 4 people that placed into the top 3 qualified groups. We had Atlanteans, SAS, and Knowledge is Power each had 3. Knowledge is Power only fielded 3 people, so that's pretty impressive.
Yes, 3 for 3. 3 people in the event. 3 people made top 3. Mm-hmm. Can't really do better than that.
Unless you're the Ancient Bear Republic who fielded... Well, actually, no, because they fielded more than 2. Well, Ancient Bear... Well, Hobo kind of double repped them, so, like, I don't know. Maybe, I guess you say 2 for 2 for 8.
Flaming Hobo is on Team Repout.
Okay, fair
We're
enough.
not going to get in trouble for this again.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
But he registered himself. He brought that upon himself when he registered himself as both. But either way, but yeah, Ancient Bear was 2 for 2, so they had the best conversion rate, quote unquote, with the win loss records and stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the Atlanteans did really good, well as well, because they had a group that had 3 of them in it, and they had a good amount of players in there too. But all in all, everybody did really great. And all these teams, like, get used to seeing them. You'll see them more. AFK has been around for a while. I decided to put their full name out there so you guys kind of understand that, like, where they get AFK from. But
Gosh, I've never seen that.
yeah,
I'm just saying
L'Association
AFK.
Française de Keyforge. Like, well, people always ask, well, why is it AFK? Like because in English, like, or in like any English language, like AFK, like you'd be like, well, if they're the French Keyforge Association is what they always say, right? French Keyforge Association, like it would be FKA. So why is it AFK? Like, do they do that just to be cute for like away from keyboard or what? Like, but no, it's because in French it's actually this way. So I just wanted to enlighten people. So with that said, I just clicked off the PowerPoint. But with that said, I guess it's time that we do some awards. Z, what do you think?
Yeah, let's kind of like the award season in other sports that come in between the season and the playoffs. It's based on the season play. Let's give some people awards. There is no money associated with this. It's just claps, high fives, and kudos today. Actually, there is the one of the cash award from our.
But we're not going to do the prediction pool until we do the review recap. We're not going to actually release that until you see the video, and then you'll see it, and you'll be like, who's going to get it? And we're going to tell you right now. We will spoil this. There were 3 people that tied in the pool.
3 people did tie. So and I sucked at this. The last time I did a prediction thing for Keyforge, I won it, but I did not do well.
I did the same as you. I got 2 right.
Yeah, 2 right, 2 out of 8. That's not a good conversion rate, guys.
But to be fair, no one had a great conversion rate. That's how challenging it was. We're not gonna say what it was because then people will figure out if they won or not, maybe. But there were 3 people, and what Z decided to do was, instead of just give out $25, split 3 ways, or trying to spin a wheel so one person gets.
That's garbage
25.
time. Yeah. And they all won, so we are going to award all 3 people. What do we agree with? $20. $20 sounded fair. So we'll give $20 to the 3 people that did win because they all did win.
Yeah,
which is great.
So y'all are basically, so all of you are chancing to lose $5 to make sure you secure 20. We thought that was a fair bet, a fair deal, and that leaves everybody happy, and nobody gets spun out of spun out of the thing. And there basically 2 people would feel bad, 1 person would feel good. We didn't want that. We want the feel good.
So we bring out the wheel. We recognize that 1 person loves the wheel, and other 2 people hate the wheel.
Right, always. Unless you count Harlan, he loves the wheel every time. So.
That's true.
But with that said, let's get on. So if I had a drum roll, I was looking for a drum roll, like soundboard thing, but I couldn't find one that would work for me. So I don't have it, sorry. But the first one we did was the most winning team. And that team was... Da-da! The Ancient Bear Republic. The Gathering of Archon Excellence is what we call this award, and is the most winning team. And they were that because they had 2 representatives with a 10-2 match record, 21-8 game record, 1 top seed, and 2 of 2 in the top 3. And the only reason there's only 1 top seed might be because they were in the same group.
Yep.
So, what do you want to say about this? Since you did all this.
I mean, I looked at the math a bunch of different ways, and this was definitely the most outstanding team representation. Because again, while they only had 2 people in, both people performed literally almost as well as they possibly could, because they got the unfortunate draw of being in the same bucket with each other.
Right.
And one of them was literally undefeated, which is outstanding. And honestly, I play in the ABR leagues. I've started since season 2 or 3 or something like that. They're great people. They run a great organization. But until this season, with their representation inside of the KFPL, I didn't know a lot about them at this level of play, other than being the runners of the casual league and just good guys in general. But no, these are really competitive players that are just fantastic to play with, against, and at a high level. So, welcome to the world of team recognition, ABR. Should
That
definitely have it now.
and they basically are a wonderful local group as well. A lot of these guys play in the same area, and like I hear nothing but good things from their stores and stuff like that, and they've always been helpful. So I'm very happy for ABR. Like
So,
I have
so
some very
SAS, reap out Atlanteans, UA, be afraid of them bears.
Bears. They're coming. All right, so
They're coming for us.
so that was the ancient Bear Republic winning that. So next is the reward that we came up with was the most fear-inspiring archons. Like, what are they? What would they be? What would they look like? Well, we nominated 6 different archons based on the idea that they got 6 strikes. They went 6 for 6 strikes, and they basically like never got a chance to play in the league basically. And these are the deck short names and the people who played them. So if you wanted to go check them out, you can. But it was Triptychon from Ewok Jr., Hillen from Aviator to the chagrins of Brobnar 89, because that was his deck, and he every time I talked to him, he really wanted to see it not get banned, but he couldn't convince people not to ban it.
No.
And then Light Tasker, which we all know is infamous with Tabletop Royale. That is Justin's pride and joy, and an amazing deck. So I can see that. Then there's some like Shan. I didn't know a lot about Shan, so that was interesting to see. And that's probably the one that was most curious to me. And then you had Sasha.
Sasha. Spelled it wrong. It's Sasha.
Yeah, I spelled it wrong. But anyway,
Probably
Sasha,
famous. That one.
Yeah, the most famous easily. It's the Merchant Generosity.
Grunt Buggy,
AOA,
nonsense.
Just absolutely insane. And then translated quote unquote sister from John Lang. It's a German deck that we translated into. It's like sister of something. I can't remember.
Sister of Good Luck.
Oh, sister of Good Luck.
I think it's pretty cool to know that 3 of these are MM. Said I love to play. MM brings the fire, guys. There's a reason these 3 decks got banned. I saw some of that in practice. I saw some of it just on paper as we talked about it. Like Hillen, Shan, and Sister of Good Luck are nonsense-looking decks. And yeah, they didn't get played against because they look terrifying. On the other side of things, Sasha and Light Tasker are both literally famous. One's Light Tasker's Worlds Collide, Sasha's AOA. No shock there. The Coda Triptychon coming out being a 6-strike deck was a little surprising. Yeah. The only Coda one that's here, and it's not named Galaxy. So that was kind of threw me a little bit. So that's kind of cool to see, though.
Callum did put out that honorable mention for one of Shred's decks because it was banned every time except the week that he played a sub, because obviously he wanted to play his deck. So I
did recognize that as I was entering in. I kind of was like, that's kind of, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You can you're not winning anything for real off of this, so it's it's cookie cutters. But
these are definitely 6 plus a sideman most feared decks in 2.
Yep. So
archons that inspire the fear.
So the next one is the Defier of Odds Award, and what this award was we in the beginning of the season we did the polls, and we basically said who's going to win each bracket, and basically there was one person that won his bracket that had the least amount of votes. So,
out of the people that won.
Out of the people who won. So here's your chance to play along. Who do you think would have earned this award?
We just told you who won the bracket.
Yeah. But anyway, any guess?
We have 6 people here.
We got a couple people listening, yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna move on. But it was the grumpiest of grumps, that Dr. Sheep. Winner of group with least votes was Dr. Sheep. Now, mind you, he was in a group with Ugluk. He was in a group with
Dave.
There was
the other mad lad, the Sad Crybear.
Sad Crybear was there. There was, that's the group that Vaps was in as well. Like, there was a lot of really good players in that group. It was very, very deep. And he only got, 3 votes.
It was 3 out of 74.
Yeah, 3 out of 74 votes, and that was.
He possibly has already given his own team crap by making the statement there are more than 3 people on this team.
and the people in his group and the people in his group were not SAS people. So The goat is observant, and maybe he's just grumpier. But that's good though. That means he has a chip on his shoulder moving forward, right? That's like that's what you want in your teams when your teammates when they're moving forward, right? You want them to feel underappreciated. It's like we wouldn't have one of those votes was me. Yeah, I could
I
tell
have
you.
already told Dr. Sheep that I love him and that I am
I'll tell you this much too, Sheep, just to make it more fun for you, is that Wookiee was one of the other votes. So it was, and he's not a teammate of yours. But anyway,
Ewok was probably the.
I don't remember who the third one was, but either way, but you were, but hey,
Yes, you are the defier of odds. That is your award. Congratulations. Once we do get our site a little bit more polished, these will be up there somewhere, somehow, some way.
Yes, and yeah, they will be. And so finally, you see, they know their stuff.
Oh, Jay, you didn't pick yourself.
That's funny. Anyway, so with that, the next one was the Chosen Award, and this one goes out to the person who had the most votes for winning their group, and basically came through. Like they basically showed up. They showed up and they wilded out. Guess who that was?
I know
too.
I thought it was going to be one person, and then I entered the last result, and I was like, oh, nope, this person had more votes.
Yep. Okay. So nobody's really trying to take that group, but this award goes out to, damn it, 96, right? Like this is the guy that basically was in a group that you looked at and you went, man, it's a pretty good group, but damn, it's so consistent. And I think what helped him here was that a lot of the, I think, American and European players don't really know anybody else besides Dammit, and they know he placed second place last season, right? So I think that helped him a little bit. But
you got to go with top lines, which I'm sure Kiwi got a lot of votes too.
Yeah,
because he literally won the last event. So on the same note, I think he got a lot of votes because he came in second to Kiwi.
Yeah.
And that's one of the names I did recognize the most because I think this is one of the few that I got right. One of the two. So.
Yeah. I can't remember which two I got right, but I'm pretty sure that he was one of them. Jay Philippeg I know was one because he's my guy, and I was going to stick with my guys. But enough said about that. But damn it, again, the most consistent player throughout the 2 seasons. So if you don't know his name or you haven't watched him play, go back and watch the match with Kiwi. Like the finals of season 1 was one of the better games that I've seen. I think. That
did go on a long time, but yes, it was great.
Like there's 3 out of all the matches I've ever done. There's 3 memorable matches to me that basically stick out. That was one because it was a long, it had no time limit, and it was amazing. Last week was one where we watched Ugluk play against. Was it Ugluk and Dave we watched? That had the game that like it was just like you're looking at the game going. Well, no, it wasn't. No, it was Corey Than. Sorry, I had to take that back. It was Corey Than.
There was a weird match between
it was Corey Than,
Shaka and
yeah, Than. Yeah. The game 1 of Shaka Corey Than was the memorable one. That was the one where it's like Corey had every bit of like everything was against him basically. He had to play an almost perfect game, and he did play a perfect game and still barely lost. Like it was crazy fun to watch. It was stupid good. Fun to watch. There you go. You're getting a lot of stuff there. So, yeah, like he's a very solid player. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but that was amazing. And then the other game that was of like super memory to me, and that was because of the just watching was Erie Daly's first game I ever watched in KFPL when I didn't really know who he was, and I watched him just like dissect his opponent. Like it was crazy good, and it was great. But there's been a ton of awesome ones, but those are just ones that stick out to me. So that's where I'm at with that.
I enjoyed watching the line Jason took to beat the Heart deck.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one when he played Grant.
the Kirby loop thing. I was like, okay, I see it now. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, go check that game out for sure. Grant versus Jay Power. That was last week. That was smoke. That was the most creative line I think I've ever seen to winning. And Dave did pull out a great game too against with the key cheat to win. But yeah, him and Jay both had like amazing like finishes in their games. That was very tactical. But enough of all that said. But man, that was so good. And like if you listen to the commentary too, you hear me like figure out what he's doing and go, "Oh my God, this is so gross. You shouldn't have a way to win, but he found one." And that's what makes him a great player. So with that said, the next one was the Master of the Hard Call. So what this was basically there was one person, I guess, that had a
The only
triad.
one.
There, that had a triad that had 2 strikes on each of his decks. So he basically had to play a different triad each week. And who was that? That was our lone wolf, Easy Galena, the Italian player without a team, and he likes it that way in the spirit of Rome and Remulus, Rome and Remulus, I guess. I can't.
Yes, the
So
master of the hard call, to the point where his decks were struck completely evenly at 2-2-2. Unfortunately, he didn't quite make the top cut. Mainly, I think, because he's in the group of death with the 3 Atlanteans and Echo and Lapuer and Merton. Like, this is a crazy group.
yeah, Merton
Um,
Merton is a fantastic player, and he had
yeah,
he had a Corey Than kind of season from season 1, like where it's like
yeah.
there's so much more there, and he was just not able to get something out. Like so, League's not a joke, folks. Don't come
But
here if
still,
you.
I've got to give him credit. I think bringing a triad that elicits a completely split strike
Yeah,
is I think that was a good call triad to bring. I
yeah,
know he didn't make it, so that seems a little weird to say, but I think in the end he chose a good triad. He
he
was
did.
just in a very, very brutal group.
Yeah, yeah, his triad was very well balanced, but like when your opponents can't decide what they want to get rid of, that's a show that his triad was very well put together as far as like the level of the decks were all the same. So good job on that. All right, so with that said, we're moving on to 2 of our last awards, and these are pretty prestigious ones in my opinion. And the first one that we're going to talk about is the Archon that embraced perfection. How awesome of an award name is that? I think it's one of the best. And for the sake of things here, there were multiple Archons with 4+ wins that basically were 4-0, 5-0, and there was only one 6-0,
Yep.
and that 6-0 belonged to Shreds. Shreds basically brought Milan Tester der Festung. I'm sure that's not even close to right. I think at German. But this is the deck that nobody wanted to face. And quite
It was
on,
never struck and never lost.
yeah. So I got to go back and look at his triad again and see why. Because this deck, when you first look at it, is unassumingly like. Well, I can't say unassumingly. When you see 20 amber, that might scare the piss out of you, right? Like that's.
32 expected with a control of the week and a key cheat in deck
Yeah.
and mimicry in this competition. We
Yeah.
already talked about how good mimicry is in this format. Like there's some times where mimicry just doesn't do anything when you're playing in like a vault or whatever, but
Right.
once you get to the top cut,
Yeah.
mimicry becomes a lot more live. This is basically always top cut deck.
Yeah, but so like the high roll is stupid high, so like that's crazy and scary. So tell the people they made the wrong. I'm not saying that you made the wrong band. I'm saying I have to go back and look. I want to go back and look because I know he has a great triad. He's a Atlantean. They don't come with crap. But yeah, like
But this is the Archon that embraced in perfection. Going 6-0 in any group with any deck is something that I would not bet on. Period.
okay.
It's just
Okay, so the I guess this is Israeli. I don't know what the language this is, but the first deck that he linked here to look at is basically a deck that has 19 raw amber, so it's just as scary in that compartment. Has 2 board wipes, 3 Mark of Disses, and I can see an Eden's Jar, Lord Invidious. You're not letting that play, so that is pretty crazy. I guess I could show you guys this one too. Like this
yeah.
is the
That
this is
one he linked was
this
struck 5 times.
this one is pretty damn scary. So yeah, but yeah, it's what it is, like right. So like back to the Shreds thing, he made it 6-0. There was a 5-0 and 2 4-0s, or like 4 bands and 1 5 band. Shreds was like an honorable mention. This is the deck I'm guessing that was the one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did play Zaire on round 4, and it is marked as sub. I don't recall the game at all because I don't practice, prepare, or do anything for these games.
yeah,
So yeah, I assume he struck what he struck. I played what he told me to play and got wrecked. Okay,
yeah.
it's
So
what it is.
it's probably the reason why it didn't get struck. But yeah, so there were what was there? There was a 5-0. Like 2 of the decks were Shaka's decks, obviously, because he went 4-0, 5-0 with them. Oh wait, this is the wrong award. No, this is the right award. Yep. So Shaka had two of them with EQ and Nevernest, and then Panspring had a 4-0 with Unarmed Goat. So,
Yes.
so like there was lots of cool
Those are the
things.
other undefeated decks that had 4 or more games.
Yeah. So now the last bit is the Mortal Kombat coming out this month inspired flawless victory, and I don't think anybody has any qualms about who that was. And that was Shaka's award for flawless victory, undefeated, 12 games, 12-0, folks. Like, ugh.
I like we've talked about this a lot. Like I literally don't. I would have never expected anyone to go this dominant in any event we play in. Yeah, that's just amazing, Shaka. You played well. I saw a lot of those games. You did your research, you practiced, you knew what lines to look for, you took advantage of them when they presented themselves, and you brought a good triad. So congrats in every level you could possibly have. You were another player that did have at least one strike on each deck, which is another credit to how good the triad is. I think that shows a lot more thought into your triad by that result happening than if like one deck got struck every time. That means it was obviously like this is clearly the best deck, etc. So,
and he also had a great team support. Like I know AVR was working real hard at helping him get ready. I know him and Aviator always practicing and just getting games in and stuff like that. So AVR, breakout tournament for you guys. You guys have done awesome this season.
The Bears are hungry. They want a title. I think we've seen them do well, but unless I'm missing something recently, I have not recalled them winning anything specific, vault or otherwise.
I guess when you put like Bears into COVID hibernation, which is longer than what they normally
hibernation
would be,
has done them well.
They come out really hungry and they've been just chomping on people. So Shaka just doing his thing.
I saw a lot of Aviators games too. I think
Aviator's great. Yeah.
I think there's a pretty strong chance that they're going to take away something this season. So I'm not saying that's who I'm picking as the winner, but there is. I think they've got some, some chances to take a title here.
Isn't it hard to bet against somebody that's perfect? Like that's basically just
winning. It's literally perfect.
It's like I mean, like football has had 20 years to stop betting against Tom Brady.
That said, I did really well in my group last season, and I lost.
Yeah, this is a whole new game.
I did end up winning my group, right? Yeah, like I won my group, and then I just lost. Probably to Ooglik.
First round.
Like Ooglik always beats me.
I could bring up the data. I have the data.
I don't need to relive that. What's next? Yes.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna watch and do the. This is the thank you video, and at the end of this video, the announcement of the 3 people that won with whatever score they got for picking right. So this is the cap here. And then we'll be back to talk a little bit about the second free event for this KFPL season, where you get to do the Keyforge Madness bracket. So stay tuned. All right, so there you go. Drazcor, Joe, and Yuri Daly basically all put up 4 points in the 8-point. They basically got 50% right, which was better than everybody else. We had a couple of threes, but to be fair, most people got a really blown bracket. That's how good the competition was. So what do you have to think about that, or say about that, Z before we
As
get
I
to Z?
said, I sucked at my predictions. I I don't know. Like I there's a lot of things that came out of this that weren't entirely on my radar. Some of them I knew. I was just like picking from my gut. Others I felt like I had a pretty good peg on where things were, and I was just wrong. We saw a lot of crazy decks come in. We saw a lot of great play, and I'm excited about the next portion that they get to participate in, as far as what's to come.
Yeah, like it was pretty funny because Jay Power with the "you nailed it" reference, and I think of the Cake Show, where it's like nailed it, and like it's not even close to perfect, but it won. So like yeah,
Yeah.
50% is pretty interesting, but that's how it speaks to the competitive level of the KeyForge Premier League, in my opinion. But that's just my personal bias and my personal thing. But we do have one more cool announcement to make. Z was hard at work, and he was doing his due diligence for you, and we are ready to show you this March Madness. Oh, I gotta turn off the video. You don't want to watch that again, do you? Yeah, I could watch it again, but this is the. Whoops, I gotta transition it. Beep. All right, still getting used to my new buttons, but getting better. So this is the KeyForge March Madness. This is the actual bracket that is going to go live. Z will post you a link, and you'll be able to fill out your predictions. We're going to do it through challenge and hope that it goes well. And
Challenge is just fine for single elimination, and it has a really good prediction software, so that is what we're going to use.
yeah, I'm still not happy with challenge, but this is the bracket and the way it's going to pan out. And it was basically, why don't you tell them about how you seeded and stuff like that? That way I don't mess anything up.
I seeded the top 8, 1 through 8, due to traditional formatting. And then I kept obviously the 2 versus 3 had to play each other, so I kind of just randomly sorted them, shoved them in there. Mainly that way the 1 through 8 still get their benefit of the traditional seeding brackets that you'd expect, as in Shaka.
As they don't play each other.
Oh yeah, like Shaka would be seeded to match up with the 8 at some point, and then the 2 versus the 7 at some point. Like that's all the normal stuff. And then the play-ins are there to feed into them. You'll get to do your predictions from the play-ins all the way to the finals. We will have a third place match, but I don't believe you do a prediction for that as far as the scoring goes. And the winner of the prediction will get another $25.
Yep, and this one, if it's tied, I'd be surprised. But you see that every round is worth more and more points, so picking the person that wins is important. But at the same time, that means Shaka is going to get overwhelmed. But but maybe not, because if he gets upset, game over. And that happens a lot in our tournaments.
Yeah, he is clearly the number 1 seed. Like, no doubt about it. Yeah. I don't follow basketball at all. Whoever the number 1 seed is, that's Shaka.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a Cinderella story to see a 16 basically beat a 1, so that would be really rough. But with that said, too, it's going to be interesting this week. Like I said, all these matchups are going to be crucial, and we're going to get them planned and set out as soon as we can. On your phone screen, sorry, I could make it bigger-ish. Let me see. Let me see what I can do.
We will send out the link very shortly.
Yeah, there you go. So here.
And you'll be able to go to challenge and fill out your...
That's about.
I don't know how he's just.
No, it's because I had it in a bracket window. Here, let me do this, and I will. This should make it easier for you guys on phones.
Chief is saying that he is Unarmed Goat's biggest fan right now.
Yeah, because it's a goat and a sheep. Like, why wouldn't it be? But that he doesn't.
I did tell Sheep a long time ago. I want more than anything to see the sheep versus
the
goat.
Yeah, I want to see them lock
match. And they won't meet until the top 4. Yeah. That would be pretty exciting.
Will they get to lock horns? You'll have to tune in and see. But with all that corniness, I think that's everything we got for the show this week. We did it pretty timely again. Hit that 45-minute mark. Is there anything else? Maybe we
wait. Before people start signing up to do their games and stuff, no games will be played until Wednesday. People will have till Tuesday to do the brackets. We need to get our casting streamers, all of our media crews together. We will be setting up groups as normal. through me, you two, and then we will get you guys hooked up with an appropriate streaming person for that time zone.
Right.
And then we're going to see some fun play. No games till Wednesday. You will all be in a group with me, Andrew.
Yeah, and so like we're gonna make sure that all the streamers who've been helping us through the season make sure they get stuff too, because we want to make sure that they're rewarded for their help. And we're not taking any new streamers this time. But if you're a streamer and you want to get in on season 3, let us know and we'll help you out. But right now we have a good amount of people and a good amount of games for everybody, so we're gonna distribute them. So again, make sure you're watching and tuning in to Screech Bombs, Team Exalted, Team GG, and it is the beardless Jupiter. I'm the evil twin. Who did I miss? Screech Bomb. Call the Week. Call the Week Aviator has a Take That Smarty Pants YouTube channel as well. All those guys have been helping out. Oh, and One Star Peeps. Don't forget him. He kind of gets on Twitch once in a while.
Archon's Corner did a couple. I think they're going to help out this coming weeks. We have so many games.
Archon's Corner was actually part of it too. Yeah. So those are all the people that have brought you content. So if you don't have subscriptions, follows, anything that you want to do for these people, this is how Keyforge gets on the net. This is how you get to watch it. Go and use their services and stuff. If you're not listening to podcasts, listen to all the podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to those podcasts so that people know that they're getting views and listens. That helps them get commercials, and commercials get them paid. So that's just the easiest thing. So you want me? You're so cool. We want everybody. But anyway, thanks for everything, guys. This has been a very successful season, and everything is again just better than I could ever expect for season 2 of this. And season 3 is going to be better. So we do have an event coming up on the 24th.
Yep.
The 24th. So
yes.
Make sure that you're looking at that. I've seen some comments about it and some people saying, but I think we've agreed that if you don't have 2 decks that fit the full criteria, just bring 1 deck. Just play Archon and try to win with Archon, but no dis. Basically, that's the nutshell.
Yeah, no dis. The main thing is no dis. We're gonna be fully promoting that soon. As I said, we are working on the site, getting things undergo. Things have been made for it and changed. We're gonna get it up. All right.
So we're gonna go fly the parsecs.
What? Okay.
So anyway, I'm just making. If you don't like Star Wars, and we could do Firefly. We could. I got all kinds of ships here. But anyway, with that said, Harlan wants to say bye. Say bye. And we're gonna say bye.
Bye, y'all. See you this week.
Say thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing.
Oh, you're so good. You're getting so good at this. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Killing machine.
Lying here.
Seeing if you're still here. Yeah, I didn't format Google Sheet that has the playoff brackets.
I tried. It was really going to be clunky.
Yeah, I've done it before for smaller things, but never this big.
I think the challenge thing will be fine.
Yes.